All right, we've started. We're here with Nicole Lamb-Hale, who is an Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Manufacturing and Services for the United States government. And we have a few questions here at the E3 conference about trade and the green energy field. The first question is kind of a two-parter, Nicole. First of all, we've seen that a lot of foreign countries have begun to dominate areas of manufacturing and areas of trade that might have been American purveyors 50 years ago. What is to keep those foreign companies and foreign countries from also dominating in the green industries? Where do you see the position of the United States in trying to make sure that we're leading the competition in those particular industries and areas?
Well, certainly the United States, the advantage that we have is our ability to innovate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is something that has, gone on for many years,
mm-hmm.
that really made us a leader, quite frankly, in the 20th century. And of course, as countries have developed, and with the advent of the internet and other, I guess, as Thomas Friedman would say, other flatteners, mm-hmm. Developing countries and other developed countries have come into the spaces where we once dominated. And so I think that what the United States has to do is to continue to innovate. Mm-hmm. I think that one of the things that will really help to drive our ability to remain competitive is to export that technology. Mm-hmm. I'm really focused in my position on implementing the National Export Initiative, which President Obama announced during his State of the Union address this year, mm-hmm. which aims to double exports over 5 years to support 2 million jobs. Mm-hmm. And so what we do is we really focus on sectors that can drive export generation, and the clean energy sector is a huge one. We have innovation there. Our companies have really moved the needle, everything mm-hmm. from wind energy to solar, mm-hmm. To battery technologies. We have it, and what we really need to do is to ensure that we protect it. Mm-hmm. So, intellectual property protection is critical. And I think through exports, we will get our products out into countries around the world and really, I think, solidify our position as a leader in innovation in this technology.
Okay. Are there any particular green technologies you feel that the United States can dominate in the coming 10 to 15 years?
Well, certainly clean energy is such a broad descriptor, I guess, and so I want to be very careful because I'm not in the business of picking winners and losers as it relates to industry sectors. Mm-hmm. What I can say is that we're very competitive across a wide range of clean energy industries. There's also the smart grid technology. Mm-hmm. Many countries have various aspects of that technology. The United States certainly is involved, particularly competitive in that area with the meters, mm-hmm. smart meters. But really, there are areas everywhere from nuclear to wind and solar that we have, I think, a competitive advantage. And so it's really up to the U.S. government to ensure that the playing field is leveled so that our companies can compete around the world and protect their intellectual property and really do what they need to do to create jobs in this country.
Okay. There have been instances in the past where partnerships with other countries, and I won't name them, were required to export into those countries and do some of the manufacturing or maybe all the manufacturing there. And lo and behold, it appears that those particular countries appropriated the intellectual property and started their own industries using that intellectual property and put other countries and companies at a competitive disadvantage. What does the United States government, how do they try to keep those kinds of situations from happening?
Well, one of the things that we do at the International Trade Administration in conjunction with the United States Trade Representative and other agencies is to ensure that we advocate for our companies and we protect their rights in other countries. And so through various dialogues that we do with countries, won't name them, but some of the obvious ones you probably have on your mind. We have dialogues with them as well, commercial dialogues. We really work to ensure that they honor agreements. I mean, that's something that's key, and that they really promote standards and practices that don't put our companies at a competitive disadvantage. I mean, certainly we can't force it, but I think that because there are many countries who want to have access to certain technologies and practices within the U.S., we do have some leverage to get that done. And so, you know, we really have to work with our companies, particularly small and medium-sized businesses, to educate them on protecting intellectual property rights. The United States government can work with other countries to ensure that they adopt commercial practices that are really going to make their countries attractive to our companies. But we also have to educate our people on what they need to do to protect themselves, because there's a great opportunity out there in the world. 95% of the consumers in the world are outside of our borders. So we really need to educate our companies so that they can, you know, educate themselves and their workers to ensure that you know, intellectual property is not stolen. I mean, that's an issue, but it's something that we can, you know, we can certainly overcome if our folks are prepared. And it's funny, I mean, I think that really in the 20th century, we didn't focus much on exporting. You know, we had such a huge domestic market that wasn't as big an issue. Now we really need to look outside of our borders because there's a lot of opportunity there, and we have to bring our companies along and make sure that they understand what they need to do to protect themselves. One of the things that we do, it's kind of a well-kept secret within the Department of Commerce, is we have a commercial law development program which works with developing countries who have an interest in it. We don't impose it on them, but it's a government-to-government program that really trains those countries on commercial practices. Because in many instances, you know, there's between corruption and other things that are impediments to doing trade, you know, these countries, though they want our products, but the countries aren't attractive to U.S. companies because they are appropriating you know, technology and the like. So in some instances, we're able to work with those countries to level the playing field for our companies.
Last thing, is there any messages that you'd like the chemical engineers of the United States to hear with respect to the government, American government, and trade, and what we're trying to get accomplished? And
well, yes, I love you guys. Keep innovating. Innovation is going to be key to the success of our companies from here on out, and certainly engineering is important to our ability to innovate. We need to develop the pipeline of engineers, so they need to spread the gospel, please do, to children to ensure that as they come through in their educational process that they consider engineering as a career. Because one thing that I've heard from manufacturers around the country is a concern about the pipeline. And we've got to make sure that that's robust, and that, you know, manufacturing and energy and other sectors is cool. I mean, we really have to make sure that the next generation, you know, picks up the mantle so that we can continue to be competitive.
all right, any last words?
That's it.
Okay, thank you very much, Nicole.